I had to start out with a little song today, I guess, but not really. Oh my goodness, you can tell it is the weekend. So I just want to say, hey, 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 welcome to all of our late night and early morning listeners. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of 10 Minute Talk with Aquisha. That's me. And before we jump into episode 11, where we talk about not letting your mind play tricks on you, just want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Aquisha Harrison Company, a professional and a professional and personal development company that that's for those who want to outgrow the status quo. So if you're one of those who want to outgrow the status quo, baby, you know what to do. Go to bit.ly/Akeisha Harris. Make sure that A and the H is capital. We should know this already. Also, join our mailing list using that same link. Get in with us, okay? So you can be aware of all the freebies and the happenings and the events and everything like that that's going on. Oh, yeah. We are having on June 14th, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. We are having our masterclass, and we're talking about unchain your heart. 4 steps to getting your soul free, okay? Because that is really important to me. And I know through conversation that it's important to a lot of you all too. You know what I mean? Like we need to be free in our souls. So, what am I going to tell you about? Oh, yes, 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 yes. I had to make sure I had the right article. Okay. So, when we talk about today, don't let your mind play tricks on you. We all have incredible minds. We were blessed with incredible minds, right? And we know the mind is the abstract part, it's an abstract part of us. So our mind is a part of our soul, and we know our soul is like the invisible us. It contains our mind, our will, our emotions, our heart, our emotional heart, and our imagination. So, a lot of how we're wired and why we make the decisions that we do and why we do the things that we do is all because of our mind, right? I mean, our soul. And within that, when we talk about the mind, that's the intellectual part of us. That's the part of us that processes, right? Yes, our brain does the physical work, but our mind is like the abstract processing center of our soul. Okay. Now I was looking at articles. You know, I love to read. You know, I love research. Why, wobbity, wobbity, whoop de whoop. We know that, right? So I found this one article on Forbes magazine from 2022, so not that long ago. A blurb of it says, our minds are the most powerful tool that we can harness for all levels of success in life. Our thoughts shape who we are and who we will become, as well as influencing our physical well being and our emotional state. The power of the mind is a tool that we are still discovering and just beginning to unleash. Like, that's crazy. The fact that this is from 2022, it's beyond the 21st century. And this writer of this article says that we are just discovering and beginning to unleash. And the reason I think that is, I believe since the digital age and the information age, where we all have so many resources at our fingertips, literally, whether you have a laptop, iPad, your cell phone, which are like our little computers, whatever you have, we are all able to get information in no time, right? And with that information at hand, we don't have to wait for a third party, even though some of us need to. We kind of need somebody to buffer the information that we get, and we need that wisdom to make it all make sense. We still are able to digest a lot of information. And I think that's why our minds are being enlarged. They're also being inundated with information that we are beginning to dissect, have conversations about, and doing a lot of trial and error, especially now with this influx of artificial intelligence. But I remember a prof it had to be a teacher. I remember them saying that school teaches you what to think, not how to think. and which is very true. School gives us the what, right? We have our subjects. This is what you do with this information. Here are the steps. Here's your test, right? It doesn't teach us how to think strategically. It doesn't teach us how to necessarily process and expand on the information that we get and what to do with these new thoughts that seemingly come out of thin air, right? We're not taught those things in school. When we were created with these great, brilliant minds, a lot of us have been stifled in our thinking. A lot of us have been, I want to say, without using any offensive language, I want to say we have been slowed down in our thinking and our processing. We have been made to kind of put the put boundaries and borders around what we think and how we come to a conclusion and all of those things, especially if it was outside of the mind of our teachers or our caregivers or our parents. If it was too outlandish, people were really quick to shut you down because we have a status quo. We have a society that sets boundaries. And I believe that we are supposed to be the people to break those boundaries. I love that people say think outside of the box, but honestly, I don't want to. That box is still created. That's still creating a framework for me to think outside of. I want our minds to be so free and on such a level and a high frequency that we can really operate at our peak genius. All right. Now, when we say don't let your mind play tricks on you, a lot of times we can kind of hurt our own progress and we can kind of just get in our own way. And I know I'm not the only one who has gone through that. I know I'm not the only one who has felt like, you know what, this would be a good idea, but, or I wish I could be able to do this, but, right? We let our minds play tricks on us by creating all of these obstacles and hindrances that just very well may not be true, right? We create these scenarios because we have such brilliant minds. We're able to envision what something is going to be like, especially if it's motivated out of fear or it's motivated out of insecurity. And a lot of times the scenarios that we play and replay in our mind, we're usually the victim of the circumstance. We're usually the one who gets the short end of the stick. We're usually the one who is laughed off stage or talked about behind our backs, and all of these negative things that we allow our minds to create and trick us into believing so that we don't move and we don't progress. Now, if we take that same energy, because it absolutely takes the same energy, to create a scenario where we are on top, where we are absolutely the winner, where we are the ones who everybody is looking to. We are the ones who are the influencers. We're the ones who are the trendsetters. We're the ones who are the history makers. We're the ones who are trailblazing and pioneering. If we took that same energy and not let our minds trick us into believing that we can't, how about we recondition our minds to believe that we can, right? And to believe that we're supposed to live outside of this box that was created for us. We're supposed to live outside of this average community that we've been, I want to say, inducted into, right? Sometimes we just have to look around us and take a moment and think, what would life be like outside of here? If I was able to do one thing very well, what is it? If I was able to make $1 million off of an idea, what would that be? And just challenge ourselves to thinking outside of the norm, to thinking outside of the tricks that we're used to our minds playing on us. If we were to take back that same power and use our beautiful minds to create new pathways in our brains so that when we get a thought, we're following a more healthy outline for our soul to come into alignment to. Remember, I said we're tripartite beings. We're spirit, we're soul, and we're body. So in our soulish compartment where our mind is housed, if we're able to think a thing, or imagine life a certain way, our body, being natural and coming into alignment with that, is able to create what's called neural pathways. Neural, right? Is neural pathways in your brain. And they're like different roads, if you want to, if you can call it that. They're roads that your brain travels when you have certain thoughts or feelings. So it is absolutely possible to recondition your brain. It is so possible to recondition your brain so that your future will look different than your present, right? Your tomorrow will look much greater than your today. And I believe that we can do that. We just really have to not be victim to the games that we allow our minds to play on us. We can't be victim to what we think is going to happen or these scenarios that we can create. We can absolutely demolish those thoughts and create new ones because it takes the same amount of energy. Huh? Can you believe it? You can absolutely get out of your situation by simply creating it. Your mind, I mean, the metaverse is a new thing. I guess we can call it a new thing, but it's really like your mind reimagined. It's taking an abstract place and allowing you to create a visual atmosphere that you want to live in. That's the same thing your mind does. That is absolutely the same thing your mind does. But the metaverse is like our minds in 3D, if you want to call it that. So we absolutely have that very power to recreate a tomorrow that we want to live in, recreate an atmosphere that we absolutely see ourselves growing in. You can do it. We absolutely can, period. Okay. And in order to do that, we just have to get our soul issues together. That's why I want you to register for our free masterclass on June 14th. Come on. bit.ly/unchain your heart masterclass. All one word. And you see it at the ticker at the bottom. I would love to see you there. It's only an hour and it's probably on your lunch break. And hopefully you're off that day anyway. Okay. So we need to talk, get to the nitty gritty of our soul issues so that we can rid ourselves of them and move powerfully and move strong. We don't have time to waste. We absolutely don't. The world needs you. Okay. And I'm going to help you get yourself in front of them as a healed and whole person who is ready to take on the world. Boop. All right, I'm off my soapbox. I hope that you all have a great rest of the morning if you're staying up and you're working. I hope you have a great rest if you're going to sleep. And I hope everybody just has a wonderful tomorrow. All right, until next time. Bye.